Our next guests are from a band that I got turned on to from my good friend Steve Karras. Um, they've got a new record that's coming out on May 22nd. It's called On and On. And, you know, it's really interesting. I can't wait to get into this with them, but they're a band from the Boston area. But uh, if anything, you would think, oh my God, these guys are from the Bayou, based on on their sound and their vibe. But I hear the Boston swagger in there.
Uh-huh.
Please welcome Charlie and Rick O'Neill from the Delta Generators Guitar Radio Show. How are you, gentlemen?
Great, doing great, Mark. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You two are brothers.
Yes.
That's right.
Um, did you got when you guys were growing
Yep.
up? Did you play together early as kids?
No, so Rick started when he playing guitar when he was 8. Rick's older than me by about 2.5 years, and I didn't start playing until I was 12. So really, it was kind of like, you know, Rick was more the one I looked up to, as kind of my, guitar hero guy when I was a little kid, starting to play and stuff. And he taught me how, a lot of stuff when I started playing because he had already been playing for, number of years, 6, 7 years or whatever.
Right.
So we didn't really, I was still the little brother. So, we didn't start playing together until I guess I was about 15. I was in a band and that's when Rick started playing bass, was around that time.
Rick, why did you switch to bass? Rick.
Oh, we're losing him.
It's the dark corner.
Dark corner. Yeah.
Rick, you there? All
Uh,
right, we'll come.
yeah, Sorry.
One more time.
Where were we, Charlie?
What made you switch to the bass?
Really, it was just, I don't know, for a bass player originally, Charlie, and um, I was, I don't know, I think I wanted to just get in the band, but also to explore the bass, because sort of,
Oh, well, he got dropped entirely
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
I'm watching all three screens, and he got dropped. All right, Rick. We'll wait for you to come back, and but let's jump ahead. We'll keep going.
Yeah, so I was I can kind of answer that too, because I was in a band and we lost our bass player.
Yeah.
And we had fired our bass player. And Rick had always played a little bass, and I was like, hey, and this was a band, I was kind of the young kid in the band. I was 15 when I joined, and the other guys were in their early 20s or whatever. And had this manager who was trying to get us a record deal and stuff like that or whatever. So I said, hey, he was like in his first year of college for music. And I said, hey, you want to come join my band, um, playing bass? And I kind of knew he might not go back the second year. So I, and he didn't, he eventually went back. He did.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he ended up in that band, and unfortunately, that band only lasted a couple of years,
As
until
they do.
my senior year in high school, at the beginning of my senior year, and then it all blew up, and so yeah, but that's how he really
Yeah.
started. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I started out as a bass player, and and it really was just because of who I was listening to at the time, and I was like, "This is really cool. I want to do this." And then I heard Jeff Beck, and I said, "Oh, I want to see if I can play some guitar."
Yeah.
And I said, "I'll never be able to do that, but I just want to make the noise."
Yeah.
And you know, but but having that as a guitar player, having that basis, if you will, um, that foundation of that rhythm tool, that rhythm instrument,
Yeah.
it really changes the way you look at everything. You look at the whole band, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm my co-host Rob Wingler, he's an amazing bass player, and he started out the same way as a bass player, and then moved on to guitar as well. But his main gig is is a bass player, and so yeah, it's I think it's a really important instrument. I think every guitar player should learn how to understand the bass and its correlation to the rest of the band.
Absolutely. I mean, I teach a lot, and I tell all my students, learn to basically, learn to be a drummer or a bass player,
Yeah,
because it's important to have that mentality, because I'm sure you came into the guitar world with more of a support position,
yeah,
because I think a lot of guitar players, they lack that. Many want to get on to playing the, lead guitar and etc. And they don't learn how
yeah,
to be a great rhythm guitar player at first and things like
yeah,
that. And it's so important to do that, to stay on the bandstand, because if you can't lay it down rhythmically, then people aren't going to want to play with
yeah.
you.
It's all I mean, ultimately, it's like what was I talking to? Oh God, Leroy Parnell. Do you know Leroy Parnell?
I don't know.
Okay, he's a country musician. He played here in Austin, and he played in Nashville, and he's played with a lot of people. And he had this one record back in 2015, and it was all these amazing. It was just this tight rhythm, all the way through the record. And I was like, my God! I said, you know how many people are going to get pregnant to this record? I mean, this is baby making music. These twos and fours are just they're just so fucking tight, and that's really what it's about. I mean, because really, what was music? Music, in the early days, it was about it was entertainment, obviously, but it was for dancing, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
and it was
Exactly.
all about that, I mean, it was dance music,
Exactly.
so much so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so having that rhythm, having that tight grooves is everything. The groove is
That,
everything.
that's the thing. That's a really important point is, one of our main functions in playing American music is to get people to dance,
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's always kind of been one of the main functions. So it's really important, I think, to always think about that, no matter what
yeah,
kind of music you're playing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny that so your new record On and On, it opens up with the first single from the record that you put out a while ago.
Yep.
Uh, and Steve sent the record over and I was like, let me check it out. So he sent me the whole thing and I'm listening and right from the get, you know, I mean, if my head starts doing this, I'm like, okay, I'm in. So I wasn't even I was halfway through the track and I emailed him back and I said, yeah, let's get these guys on the show.
Oh,
This is
beautiful.
really good.
Oh,
So
nice.
I mean, so you picked the right song for the first song on the album.
Good, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, isn't you know the lineup of an album is the probably one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, geez. Sometimes it's really easy and sometimes it's really hard. And to
Yeah,
be honest, this one was a bit hard.
yeah. Well, you had a weird. This was a weird way that you did this record, right? I mean, I read that all the songs on the record were written, arranged, rehearsed over a period of 8 days, and then recorded in 2 days.
Yeah, so
That's
we
freaking insane.
yeah, so I remember, I think, geez, I guess it was in June, we were over in Europe for a couple of weeks touring around, and we're kind of sitting in the back of the van, driving around through, I don't know, France or whatever, and we were just like, all right, we need to record a new album, and it needs to be, looking at what our schedules were going to be like coming up, that fall. We knew we had to really, like, we work on deadlines, so we knew we basically started calling. I started calling studios while we were on the road, seeing who had available time to fit our available time. So we kind of just set ourselves a deadline and said, all right, this is when the studio is booked, so, and this is our available times. And we booked our rehearsals to get together to write the album. And the other thing was typically the way this band has kind of worked creatively is that I'll usually, come up with some demos, pass them on to Brian, the singer. He, writes a song around it. And then we get together with Rick and Jeff and that's when it becomes, a Delta Generators song.
Right.
But this time around, we came in with I didn't come in with any ideas. We just came in cold. And it was just
not even some riffs in your pocket. Nothing?
I had some stuff on my phone, I'll admit, but we didn't go to any of it really. So
it was all just off the cuff.
It was all off the cuff. It was really great because it was somebody just starts playing a groove, and we just try to whip something together. If we feel like it was catching fire, the tune.
I'm really glad I got into asking you this because it explains a lot about the ebb and flow of the record, and that and you guys recorded it live on the floor, right?
We did, yeah.
And that's another thing. Like I was just talking to Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
He's got a record out called Rock: Washington's Rules of Civility. What he did was he wanted to do a vocal album with him playing, and he used this book that was written in the 1500s that Washington used as a penmanship book to get his penmanship good. And it was all this stuff about, don't scratch yourself in public, don't, oh God, all different stuff. But in all of that 1500s lyrical notation,
Okay.
and he used that prose as the lyrics for the album.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really good. It's a great record. It's, obviously he's Paul Gilbert, he's a great guitar player, great rock guitar player.
Yeah.
But he did the whole thing on the floor too.
Yeah.
All live. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to do that again, and it's really exciting.
Well, I think especially in this time of, where, with an AI and everything, and I think I hope that we get much more pushback, against having less of the humanity in our, in the arts, basically, and yeah, we really wanted to limit ourselves to, like Brian was on the floor for most of the album singing, in the room with us. So everything was bleeding, so we couldn't go back, and punch in anything. We couldn't,
nowhere to hide.
There's no auto tune, no nothing,
That's great.
No, we only isolated them for a few things, just for sonic reasons. But there was nothing was redone. The take you're hearing is the performance together, the band.
Right.
There's one tune, Brian did a guitar overdub and one I did an overdub. But and one little harmonica thing, just because it was overlapping with the vocal. But besides that, it was all.
Yeah.
Just wanted to have it be a captured performance.
Well, you can feel that. It does. It feels like that. Rick, you're back. Hi, Rick.
Yes.
Welcome back. And much clearer picture too.
Yeah,
it's
get back.
Yeah, you got a better picture than all of us. So your brother explained how you ended up with the bass and everything, so you don't have to do that now. You can sit back and chill a little bit. But I'm curious to know. So was it? I mean, literally, you took 8. Now, was it in your head? Okay, we're going to have 8 days. We're going to throw stuff around, see what sticks, and then we've got time booked at the end of that 8 days for 2 days. Is that how it worked?
It pretty much was, because
that's insane.
Because we looked at we had the we blocked out, like I said, we blocked out on the road, we blocked out the dates for rehearsal, and we knew we didn't even have the studio booked at the time. We were we were calling around studios. We finally, when we got home, we finally figured out we were going to record at the power station. I called the power station and they had the available time. And I was like, well, there's no better place to record around here, in this area. So, and we knew that we wanted to capture something. We knew the sonics we wanted to be really great, and that studio has a beautiful old Neve console from, it used to be an Electric Ladyland. A lot of great things were recorded on it. And it's just a beautiful room. And,
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember we were doing some Northeast dates, and Brian was finishing the lyrics to the album, in the front seat of the car, like we're driving from like New York to Pennsylvania. It was like, I don't know, a 5-hour drive. And he's like, yep, I just finished 3 songs,
Wow.
Um,
That's a prolific guy.
yeah, he was a machine that day. Yeah.
That's great. So in the early, I mean, he's been with the band since what? 09?
No, since 16. Is that right, Rick?
16.
Yeah.
Okay, 16. Okay. Does he ever help with the gear?
Oh,
He does. He does. You know what? He's a very, very hands-on,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he is not that typical lead singer showing up late and
Just showing up with
the microphone.
with the mic. Yeah.
no, he's into, loading the band, the right,
Right.
making sure everything's
Right.
just right. Yeah, he's one of those. So he's
I
great.
just had to have fun. I was a singer in several bands, and I always made sure I helped out with the gear.
We all had those guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, what if you hadn't? I mean, what if those 8 days wouldn't have been fruitful? You just wouldn't have booked the time, obviously.
Yeah, so I guess we were about halfway through, when we finally got the time, because we were still back and forth on where we were going to record. We couldn't find the right room because we knew we wanted to be live, so we needed a big live room,
Mm.
So we were about halfway through rehearsals. We still didn't have a room, and I remember we were at one of the rehearsals, and that's when I talked to Evan, who ended up recording the album at the power station. And so I just booked it that day. So we were looking pretty good at that point. It was still a little sketchy as far as the whole album, but I think we knew we could get it done. It was just gonna be some work,
And there's 15 songs on the record. Is it 15?
Well, there's 12. There's 3 little kind of musical interludes.
Yeah. Well, those are songs. We got to call them what they are. I mean,
Sure. Absolutely. Now, we had an idea of just kind of the last day, we just recorded these random things on the floor.
Yeah. And they're cool. They're great. They're great, like passages to the next tune and stuff.
Yeah. And we had this idea to maybe fade a little things in and out that could kind of tie some of the tunes together. So, yeah.
Yeah. Rick, I was telling Charlie that, I got the email from Steve about you guys, and I was like, oh, cool. I said, can you send over the record so I can hear the record? He goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. So he sent it. And I'm like, as soon as, you open up with I Got You, which was the first single off the record, I'm literally like, got my head bobbing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like halfway through the song and I email Steve back and I go, yeah, dude, let's get them on the show. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm on it. And I hadn't even heard the rest of the record yet. And then as I got deeper in, I was like, holy shit, this is good. So I've got like my favorite tunes that I want to talk to you guys about.
Oh, okay.
And I want to dissect with you a little bit.
Sure.
I want to talk about what you guys did, how you did it, the gear, and the recording process too. So I Got You. Was that one of the first tunes you guys wrote for this?
No, actually, that came near the end, I would say.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, Rick. 'Cause Rick, didn't we do that down when the rehearsal we did down your way? I believe. I think that's
Yeah.
what came up with that one.
Huh. Okay, because that's like such a. I mean, it's. I was telling Charlie before that it's such a great song to open a record with.
Yeah,
It's like so logical. It's like here, here. I mean, it's like this is how we would open up a live set.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just kind of it kind of starts with the chorus and hits in hard, and it just made
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
It's a shorter song.
yeah,
Kind of good to get you in.
yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah. I'm always hearing people say, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus."
Right.
Exactly.
So I dig that tune a lot. And to me, I mean, I've been watching video on you guys and checking out some of the gear and stuff like that. And Charlie, you're using a lot of Les Pauls,
I,
right?
I use a Les Paul for we do a lot of open tunings for slide
Yeah,
guitar.
a lot of open G.
Not as much open G, mainly D and E.
Okay.
So I have that Les Paul. Geez, I've had that guitar since I was like 15 years old. It's like an old 71. And
Oh, it must be heavy as hell.
it, it,
It's a Norland era. Les
yeah,
Paul.
exactly. Those are pretty heavy that period right there. Not as, I mean, the later 70s ones got really,
Yeah,
but
that was absurd.
yeah. So that guitar is an open D. So um, often I'll, either I have an open E guitar I use also, but usually what I'll do, especially these days, is just capo that guitar for different tunes.
Right.
It's
I
open
noticed
E,
that.
I'll just capo
Yeah,
it second. So,
I noticed that. Yeah.
yeah.
But I Got You sounds like a Telecaster to me.
Yeah, that's standard tuning. Yeah.
It's a Tele.
It's a Tele, yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a company called LSL. They're out of Van Nuys, I believe. They really reissue the 52 very, really well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. And Rick, what are you using on that tune?
Ernie Ball all the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Which model?
Geez, I have a few of them. I have a early, like a late 90s model, 5 string,
Mm-hmm.
Stingray.
Okay.
So I fell in love with Stingrays years ago, and I just have always loved them. And so I have different versions of that bass.
Do you have a deal with them?
Just recently got to deal with them.
All right. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, because if you don't have a deal with them, if you're mentioning them here, we got to get you a deal. I mean, just
Oh, Ernie Ball, love you, Stingray.
yeah, absolutely. I had Sterling on the show one time. Have you ever met Sterling?
No,
He's
no.
a trip. Guy's a trip. He's so funny. Um, so, all right, let me get into another song. There's a song called Drone.
Okay.
Oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
And that's a down tuning, right?
That's D.
It is D. Okay.
That's a open D. So
Right.
yeah, we tend to do a good amount of stuff in open D.
It's greasy, man.
Yeah, that's
That
probably
track is
my
greasy.
favorite tune. At first I was almost pushing for that one to be the opener, but
Oh, really?
everybody was like, "That's a little too long,"
Yeah. No, No. I think you did it right. You did
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But Drone is freaking cool. I like that song a lot. It's like I said, it's just greasy. It's interesting. Like I'm sure. I mean, being from Boston area, New England area, and everything else, there's all these these legends that loom.
Sure.
Same thing when I was growing up in New York. There were all these legends that loomed. And it was always sometimes it was a hassle if but you guys don't sound like any of those cats. However, there's an attitude. There's a completely different thing out of New England. I have a good friend from New England. His name is Tom Guerra, who wrote for Vintage Guitar Magazine. He's a great musician, great guitar player,
Yeah.
collector. And he and I have talked about this so many times that there is this, there's a swagger, there's an energy, there's a attitude, of all that. Jay Giles,
Mm.
you know, Aerosmith, you know, Johnny A. I know, Rick, you played with Johnny A, right?
Yeah.
I've had Johnny on the show. And I mean, there's a cat with swagger.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
talking to him, sitting in a hotel lobby with him is like, very interesting. He's a trippy dude. But all those, those cats from that, there's something in the water, and not necessarily dirty water, but water.
Yeah, I think especially Boston has a certain, if you know Bostonians in general, there's a certain edge.
Yeah,
I think that can often come out in the music.
it does. It absolutely does.
Just like in New York, there's an edge,
Totally.
So
Yeah, but it's different. It's more,
absolutely, yeah.
there's this New York is edgy, whereas Boston has this soulful edge. It's
Hmm.
still a hard edge. It's still a, I'm in your face, but it's got a soulful thing. Sort of like Philly too. Philly has that as well,
Sure, yeah.
but leans even more towards the soul.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very different thing, and I hear this in tracks like "Baby Bomb," uh, certainly "Deep State of Mind." Okay, first time I heard this song, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like right out of a club, in Boston.
Yeah.
This is right out of a club in Boston. Somebody's breaking some fucking furniture."
Right.
Yeah, that tune definitely has a nice punky edge to it.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's funny because we recorded that one definitely like with that one, we had it was kind of different how we were playing it in rehearsal for the album. And it just we weren't even going to record it because we were like, it's just not coming together. And then so, I think Brian said, let's make it more simple and just play rock and roll basically.
hmm
So we just modified it right there, like I don't know, right in the studio, did 2 takes, and that was it, So we and barely even came up with a arrangement for it, We just kind of let the tape fly, and
Yeah.
and that's what you get.
yeah.
And we actually were almost didn't put it on the album too, um, because we a couple of reasons we were thinking maybe it was too long or whatever. So, but we decided to just go all in and put them all
Yeah.
up.
Well, once again, I think you picked a good song to end the record with too.
Yeah.
It's a good bookend, because it's like, once again, feels like a live. Well, it was live, but it feels like I mean, literally, when that song ends, it's almost like you're waiting for an audience to applaud in there. You know what I
Cool.
mean? So it's
Cool.
kind of you could have actually slipped in some, like,
Right.
tracks on either side of an audience, and people would have bought it.
Yeah.
Do your Benny and the Jets thing.
Live 70s album, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like Frampton Comes Alive and Kiss Alive, all of them.
It's
Yeah,
alive too.
yeah, Kiss Alive 2, 3.
Yeah.
Um, so, Rick, was there somebody in particular that made you want to leave guitar full time and go to bass? Was there a bass player?
I think the first one, I'll admit that when I started playing bass, I was just a guitar player playing bass. Had a pick, following along with roots, the whole thing,
Sure.
and just trying to keep up. And then a year or two into it, maybe a year, I started to kind of fall in love with the bass player's role. I think
hmm
the first person I discovered was a recent guest of yours, Tony Levin,
Yeah.
where you actually dig into the bass and try and find your own voice, your own expression, your own you can do more than just following along with Roots, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, for sure. He's an interesting character too, in the sense that he plays a lot of fretless, obviously, and he's a great fretless bass player. And I told him that I had just gotten a fretless at the time, and it has no lines on it.
that's tough.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm really having a hard time with it. He goes, why did you get one without lines? I said, he says, you got to get lines. I was like, oh great, I screwed up. So, but yeah, no, it's incredibly difficult. But we were talking when you got just before you or just after you got knocked off before,
Right.
um, saying how important the bass player's role is with the drummer and how it's everything, and it's about those twos and fours, particularly with the music that you guys play.
Yeah.
I think it's so key. You hold such an important job. I mean, your brother's stuff is the accoutrement. It's the chocolate sauce, if you will. You know what I mean? Whereas you guys are the ice cream.
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. It really is about, and you could have a really great, you're not going to have a great Sunday, not going to have a great ice cream sundae if the ice cream isn't really good, right? It's got to be super tight.
Yeah.
How is your role with your drummer? Is there a lot of discussion, or is it just a telepathy?
Telepathy these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Armstrong is amazing. Uh, and I've been playing with him for what? Well, over 15 years, a long time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can um, go style to style and really, do it authentically, you know. So he pulls out all kinds of tricks, all kinds of new things. Still today, he'll do something new that I didn't know he knew how to do, you know.
Right.
So he makes it so easy to play with him because he's just not only rock solid on the beat, but he knows how to play behind the beat and make it soulful and
Hmm.
fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I just lay in there and, it's really fun. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing I think about those two, both Jeff and Rick. They're both super backbeat players.
Mhm.
And sometimes, I don't know if the guitar player syndrome can often be to maybe play a little on top. I find with a lot of guitar players,
Mhm.
um, and they don't let you. You got to come back to them. You know, and it's great.
Yeah.
I think it just helps give the music that, of course, just helps give the music that swagger and that feel. And they, like, if you look on a grid with these guys, if we ever do anything, I don't know, playing with a click track or whatever in the studio, if you look at the waves, everything is right.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and they also understand not only two and four, but they understand beat one so well. They
Yeah.
understand the lay back there.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
they just play beautifully together.
Yeah.
They're just so connected. And
Yeah.
right, they don't talk about anything. They just
That's
play.
great. Yeah, that's so important. When you do have that telepathy going on with everybody in the band. I mean, and it sucks the other musicians in, you know,
Yeah.
unless of course you're Keith Richards and then you're pulling the band,
Yeah.
because that's what he does. And it's funny, I don't know. Have you seen this? Have you seen any video of the Stones or seen the Stones since Charlie died at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah.
It's really different.
It is.
you know
Totally.
and I mean, and that's not taking anything away from Stanley Jordan. He's amazing. He's an incredible drummer. I've seen him up close, like standing at the drum set watching him play, and he is of another mindset entirely.
Totally.
But he is having he I can tell he struggles with the being just behind the beat. He
Right.
likes he's always on the one, where Charlie was just behind the one,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And so it's a very different band now to me. And not that who knows, we're probably never going to see them now that Keith has got the arthritis. So who knows?
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
It is interesting, and then, but Charlie could also push, like it's that old thing. You listen to Honky Tonk Woman, you listen to the beginning, and then you listen to the end, and you listen to how the whole band just moved together so
Yeah,
great. We don't
yeah,
even notice it.
yeah.
And I think that's another thing about bands, like of course sometimes you want the tune to speed up. It's like if you listen to Zepp's Levee Breaks, if you listen to the end of that tune from the beginning, everybody talks about it's this backbeat feel and everything.
Mm.
Then you fast forward to the end and it's like, wow, that's a lot faster now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole Presence album is like that. If you think about it. um, yeah, and it's funny because like you guys, you know, when I had read the release and everything else about the fact that you guys had did this in 8 days, you wrote it in eight, wrote it and arranged it in eight, which is insane to me, and then recorded it in two, which was even more insane to me.
Yeah.
But that just really shows a band that has that telepathy, a band that works a lot, a band that plays a lot, and has been playing together a long time. It's that 10,000 hours thing, that Malcolm Gladwell thing. But I'm always curious as to how does, and when you do it. So basically, this was like a live record. This was a live record. So you could essentially, with the exception of the interludes, you could essentially just go and you could play this record live.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Without any rehearsal at this point, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys probably don't rehearse all that much anymore now, right?
No, because we have the unfortunate thing of all living far apart too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brian, our singer, is up in southern New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
down north of Boston and Salem. Rick's down in, the northeast corner of Connecticut, and our
Yeah.
Jeff lives southern Mass down near like Cape Cod. So
Right.
we don't have that luxury,
Right. It's not like you guys are getting together every Monday and Wednesday
No,
in the basement.
for many years we never rehearsed. Like we didn't even rehearse when we go into the studio.
Yeah.
We just kind of work it out on gigs and pull it together. Then, I mean, there's a couple albums. Those, like, Rick and Jeff had never even heard the songs before we got to the studio.
Wow.
So it was almost, in a way, because we were able to rehearse. It was actually a lot, 8 rehearsals. I mean, we were writing tunes, of course, but in a way, it was almost a luxury for us to play together for within a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Do it that way, because we typically wouldn't do that. We just go to the studio and hash it out there. But we knew we wanted to. We did it in 2.5 days. Really 2 days. We just kind of ate donuts the last day in the studio.
And listen back.
Yeah.
So how many takes on a tune?
3 would be the most.
Yeah.
Anything come out in one?
Yeah. And
Which one?
I probably many of them we probably went with the first take. I think what we did was we would do about 3 takes, and then you listen to them and then pick which one.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we do a take and we're like, yeah, that's the one. But we might do another one just in case.
Yeah.
So it would probably typically be take 2, I would say.
Right. That's crazy. So we're coming up on the release of the record. It's going to be May 22nd, and you actually have a gig on the same day.
That's right.
In Plymouth, Massachusetts, at the Spire Center for Performing Arts. I'm not familiar with that room. Big room?
It's a great room. It's like an old synagogue that turned into a venue. So it's about a 300 seater. We've been playing there a long time, and it's a really nice room. Sounds really great in there. And we really love it there because we have a lot of history there.
Hometown gig.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, yeah. So it's always a good show there.
So what of the other, as we got closer to May 22nd, what are the other two releases that there were?
So we're gonna release Mr. Uh, so Mr. Vane
Good track.
and Poker Face.
Cool. That's interesting. And that's not the songs that I picked as my favorites. That's interesting. I like when that happens because that makes me go back now and listen to those songs more intently. It's like, okay, they thought something I wasn't thinking.
Well, it it's always tricky. It can be tricky picking the tunes,
Oh, it's really hard.
Sometimes it's better to, that's why maybe A&R used to be good, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? They would screw it up too.
They would screw it up, absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah,
Big
totally.
time.
Oh, yes.
When I think about how many B-sides ended up becoming the hit single,
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully we get it right,
Yeah, no. You know what? I like the idea. I mean, now more than ever, even though the music industry is, just in tatters, I really like the idea that the artist has so much more control over the content and and what's getting disseminated to the public. You know what I mean? Because it's got a much more pure intention to it.
Definitely.
And that's key because I think that really reaches the people that really dig your music. I think that lands much better with them than it does, with and it's honest.
Yeah. They're the intentions, I think, are
Yeah.
more pure,
Yeah. I think that's important. So let's go back to these tracks again. I have little notes that I wrote next to the track. So like on Baby Bomb, I wrote bluesy, but Boston swagger. It's got such attitude. It's a song. It kind of the song spits in your face a little.
Yeah. It's pretty ruckus, it's pretty heavy, it's one of the heavier tunes we've ever done, I'd say.
And that was the first take?
It was first, second, or third. I don't remember, to be honest, but
yeah. And what are you using Les Paul on that?
No, I used an old. I have a 67 355 Gibson 355.
Nice.
That one's just drop D. So yeah.
Cool.
And for the whole session, I ended up using I mainly use Blackface Fender amps. So that was a Fender Super Reverb and a Deluxe Reverb together, 60s.
And you're okay with bringing that kind of gear out on the road?
On the when we do stage stuff, I mean, if we go overseas or whatever, we just have to.
You got a backline, yeah.
Yeah, so we use a great backline company. Actually, last time they had a like a 68 Fender Deluxe Reverb that I was able to use on the road, which is great.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean the reissues do okay, but reissues are fine. They're we just played in Iowa last week, and I had to, I was using just a reissue Super Reverb.
What about you, Rick?
On the album?
Yeah.
I used this Power Station had a B15.
Oh, nice.
So I love that sound,
Oh yeah. I mean, geez.
And so the whole album I use that.
Yeah. And live?
Live I use personally I have I love orange.
Uh-huh.
So I have an orange microteller, which is like a lunchbox amp. And also I just recently got into Mark Bass.
Great company. Yeah.
Yeah. But as you know, when you go on the road, you basically usually see a SVT. Yeah.
SVT. Lord.
I'm not carrying it around, but
So are you getting backline? Like when you go to Europe, you get in the backline with an SVT?
yeah.
Holy cow.
I mean, if there's a backline, otherwise I will. A company we rent from, I'll usually go for an orange or marked base.
Or Mark Base, yeah. This way it's, it's funny, just before Tommy Shannon here in Austin, Stevie Ray's old bass player,
Yep.
just before he retired entirely, he was using Mark Bass and he had to deal with Mark Bass. And he had it on like one of those luggage things, that with the wheels.
Yeah,
And he always left the bungee cord attached to it.
of course.
So he didn't care that the thing was, you could see the handle was vibrating and everything else, but he would just plug in, play, do the thing, sit on a stool, play, because it got to that point.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he would just put the bass in the gig bag, put the bass on his back, and grab the handle, and just walk away, and just walk away. And he sounded great, he always sounded great. So yeah, I that's kind of how I got turned on to Mark Bass. I was like, what's this that he's playing?
Yeah.
I would always talk to him about it and say, this is amazing. He goes, yeah, they're really great company. He goes, they're really, and that was a big thing for him. He goes, they're really light.
Really
That's
light,
a big thing. Yep.
That's why when you say SVT, I go, oh my God,
No.
all those years, I'm not on the road anymore, thank God. And all those years with SVT is just ridiculous, And then finally someone came on, it was like I think it was mid to late 80s. People started using GK
Yep.
with SVT bottoms.
Yeah.
I saw that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. That became a big thing.
Yeah. Solid state.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. I remember the days of using SVTs and, the cabs. What are they?
810s.
Yeah.
And, getting to a club and realizing that, it was on the second floor,
Yes.
and so you got two of you, carrying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and you got to get rid of that thing.
Yeah. On a wooden staircase on the side of the building that's got to go up.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to get killed.
They don't call it a coffin for nothing,
Yeah, man, that thing is crazy. I mean, it sounded like no other, but that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, festivals will also have them, so that these guys get to still play them, at all the festivals. So,
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. Outdoor festival, SVT for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, true, right? Why use a Toyota when you can have the Cadillac at a festival? So Ginny May,
Mm.
cool tune. Your slide work is just impeccable. It really is. I mean, it's just like chef kiss, man. It's really, really good.
oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so is it Elmore James for you? Is that what it is? Because I hear Elmore James.
That tune in particular, I mean, Elmore James was like my kind of gateway into slide, I would say.
Yeah.
He's the first one to, I went to, to really learn. That one is probably one of my, potentially my favorite. It's more influenced by, I would say, Robert Nighthawk, who I would say is more one of my favorite slide players. That tune in particular, it's definitely based more Robert Nighthawk, I was thinking, than Elmore in that one. But definitely you can hear some, because both of those guys were in Chicago, you can hear that overlap in their playing. They both, I don't know if they were influenced by each other, but sometimes I hear Elmore and he's kind of sounding like, in later stuff, and he sounded like Robert Nighthawk. And
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, back then, I mean, those guys were always nicking from each other.
Oh yeah, like if you hear any Earl Hooker stuff.
Yeah.
So Earl Hooker he basically was a Robert Nighthawk clone later on, and he did it really well, So those guys all kind of, they all kind of, it's like JB Hutto sounded like Elmore, or all that overlap in them.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's cool. No, that's a great, it's another one of those tunes that I wrote down here. I wrote, it's very greasy, very
Right.
greasy in the best possible way. Um, yeah, I'm digging it, man. What's the band's philosophy on your music? I mean, first of all, I hate the idea of labels, but at the same time, it seems that America needs those things,
Sure.
because everything is so classified. Whereas, you guys probably are close to my age. I mean, I remember going to shows in the 70s and early 80s, and I went to a show one time that had, this is going to blow your mind, Twisted Sister, early Twisted Sister when they were still in the
Oh,
clubs,
yeah. Yep.
because I grew up on Long Island.
Oh yeah. It's got
Twisted, Scruggs and Flats.
wow.
Yeah, this is trippy. Al Di Meola.
What?
Yeah. Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes.
Oh, nice.
And I don't even know if you remember these guys, early 80s, a new wave band called Blotto.
Blotto. I know the name. I don't.
They had they were, one and done type of a thing. And in between there was all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it was an outdoor show, and it was being put on by a radio station on Long Island called WLIR, which was like a college radio station, but they had commercials. Like none of the DJs, all the DJs had their own records.
Right.
And they come in, like one DJ would play Grateful Dead, and then he played Judas Priest. And that was my upbringing. They were why I'm so screwed up. But you can't do that. How I wish we could do that again.
I know. It seemed like in the 70s, especially, because you hear about certain, like, Jay Giles, Jay Giles opening for Black Sabbath at the Fillmore.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, wow, and everybody, you hear stories, everybody's very respectful of, this band, obviously.
Yeah. Like those old days of the Fillmore East.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he put together those shows, and he wanted to break a new artist in. I think that's why he had Giles at the time. And he, knew it was going to be a good audience.
Yeah. I mean, he would have the Allman Brothers and Ravi Shankar.
Right.
It's like, it's good. Like Woodstock was like that too, really, if you think about it,
Yeah, I mean, I just remember hearing just all those stories, especially in the 70s, Mahavishnu Orchestra with, some, Aerosmith or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a little more cohesive,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's trippy to me that but what's your philosophy on, so if somebody were to, so you guys familiar with the band King's X?
Of course.
Okay. So I've known those guys for years, and I used to follow them around the early days. And whenever I talk to anybody, I'm saying, you should check out King's X. And they go, who's that? I never heard of them. And it happens more often than I'd like. But
Yeah.
I say, well, imagine if the Beatles and Black Sabbath got together at a church social with Sly and the Family Stone
Mm.
and made a baby.
Mm.
And I told that to Doug, and he goes, yeah, that's about it. That's it. That's right there. Exactly where we land. So
Yeah.
where would you guys land? How would you? Because I have my own thought, but I don't want to say it until I hear from you.
Geez, it's we're definitely, I would say, influenced by, a lot of, we all grew up on 70s rock stuff, and
Mhm.
so we can't escape that. I think that was, kind of our gateway to the blues. It's that old thing. You find out who Angus Young was listening to. Oh, you like BB King, and then you
Right.
like to BB King and keep going back, etc.
Or who Jimmy Page was stealing from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. But but yeah, so I think that is a big part of our sound that we just, we grew up on rock music, and we love blues at a young age. For Rick and myself, we really were playing more rock. It was just kind of the world we were in. Um, a lot of it blues based, but didn't really get a chance till we started this band,
Mm.
because we really wanted to get in just playing something very much more blues,
Mhm.
more traditional, you could say. We quickly realized that we weren't going to be a traditional, and and I think part of the philosophy is why bother, because there was already Muddy Waters, and that um, there's already, Howlin' Wolf and whoever, Elmore James, So I think it's just trying to take what all our combined influences are and just make a sound that's the Delta Generators. But we're based in blues. We like to say we're honest music,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's what I would say,
Mhm. See, for me, and I mean this in the best possible way, there's a spirit, not a sound,
Hmm.
but there's a spirit that your band that I feel the spirit of ZZ Top, believe it or not,
Yeah, sure.
um, um, Credence,
Oh yeah,
and Jay Giles.
be the Boston connection. Well, it's interesting because Jay Giles, um, that might have been the first.
Early Jay Giles.
Yeah, sure, of course.
No Love Stinks, none of that.
Yeah, but interestingly, when we were both really young, like probably seven, I would have been 7 years old. That would have been like the first albums we listened to, because that would have been when, the big album there came out.
Right.
Um,
Look
and,
at the purse.
and then,
Yeah.
you get the live album, and you hear the live album, and
Mhm.
there's like when you're introduced to that live album as one of your first live albums.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Showtime, that one?
Well, you said Showtime, but then you go back to, Full House and,
Oh, yeah.
all those ones. And I mean, those live albums are just amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Stomping.
you just listen. I was listening to those as a kid, it's 8 years old, whatever. And I'd never been to a concert before, but I got that feeling of what it's
Yeah.
like to be at a concert,
Totally. Yes.
and I don't, like Wolf was just so amazing, as a front person. The band was so tight and so great and everything else. And they just know how to put a show on. So I think that being, such an early influence, in like, just having that as such a young age, listening to those albums, and we were both. I'm wearing an AC/DC t-shirt right now. That's AC/DC when I was young, 8, 9
Mm-hmm.
10 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
when I started playing guitar, those were the kind of first things I went to because they were in here,
Yeah.
and so they were easy to kind of play because I already listened to them so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, Giles, that Boston connection to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah. It's like, yeah, speaking of AC/DC, when I think of AC/DC, first rap record that comes to mind is Powerage. It's a blues record,
yeah,
you know.
they all are.
They are. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. They are. Yeah. This is a great record. I can't wait for everybody to hear about it and hear it. It's really, really good. Folks, the name of the band is Delta Generators. The record is called On and On. It comes out May 22nd of this year. I invite you to stream it, but buy it.
Please.
Let's do it this way. Buy it and then stream the shit out of it. How's that?
Right.
Let's do that.
Perfect.
Okay, so this way we got both areas covered. You can stream it, go ahead, but just buy it. We actually have a tag at the end of every episode that says if you like the music you heard here, you
Great.
stream it, but buy it. So I can't thank you enough, guys, for spending some time with me today to do
Mark,
this.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you,
Right.
taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, really great, man. I wish you all the best with the record. I assume there's more gigs beyond the 22nd. When are you guys going back to Europe?
We're back in Europe in August.
Okay.
We're playing Germany, a few days in Germany, Belgium, France. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. And you guys done Belgium a lot.
Yeah, Belgium, that area, yeah, Belgium,
In Netherlands, Belgium.
Netherlands, Belgium. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's an AC/DC song, isn't it? Right? Bedlam in Belgium. Isn't there a track called Bedlam in Belgium? I think it's off of Flick of the
Oh,
Switch.
that you lost me there. Flick of the Switch is the album that, that was the
There's one tune on that record. Oh, hang on. Hang
one.
on. There's a tune on that record, man. It is so damn good. It's funny. I was listening to Rufus Huff this morning. Do you know Greg Martin from the Kentucky Headhunters?
Oh, yeah.
He had a band. He had a side project called Rufus Huff.
Huh.
Go to iTunes and check this record out. It's amazing. But let's see here. AC/DC. Here we go. AC/DC. Of course, they're the first thing that comes up. Hang on. Just for shits and giggles, let's do this. Here we go. Flick of the wrist. What the hell's the name of the song? It's so damn good. Not Rising Power. Oh, I think it's Guns for Hire. Hang on. I'm going to get in trouble now. Yeah, this is it. I mean, let's break some furniture.
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't hear it.
Oh,
but-
you couldn't hear it? Oh, man, bummer. I'm
But
sorry.
I'll definitely check it out because
Yeah, Guns for Hire.
I think what it was is that, that thing after Back in Black, and For Those But Rock was great too.
Yes.
But they were just so good
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it got very spotty after Back in Black.
Yeah.
But I'm a Bond guy. I'm Bon Scott all the way. That's
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. That's why, like I say, like Powerage, tracks like Rock and Roll Damnation, Sin City. I mean, this was a guy who was writing really clever lyrics,
Oh man,
like
yeah.
Chuck Berry worthy lyrics. Very clever stuff. That's why I still wonder. The lyrics are really clever on Back in Black,
They are.
and they get a little less clever as we go.
They do.
Just saying.
But they're all great. I mean, all those 80s albums, there's some good ones in there. But,
Yeah.
But I think we just hold it up to Back in Black because it's just so darn good.
Oh, it really is a perfect record. That and Highway to Hell. Mutt Lange was at his best at that point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with those two albums. I've watched so many Tony Platt interview. Well, anything available, Tony Platt, the engineer, did those because,
Yeah,
man, that sounds so good.
good stuff. Yeah. Well, you got some great stuff too. I got to tell you, this is a great record. Once again, folks, the Delta Generators. The record comes out May 22nd. It's called On and On. Go get it, y'all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate you. All right. Have a great one. Take care.
Take care.